A popular narrative in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is that the Israelis want peace and have been offering it for decades, but the Palestinians are unreasoning extremists who want nothing less than the destruction of the state of Israel. Many people point to the numerous peace deals rejected by the Palestinians as examples of this. A prime example being the pulling out of Gaza by Israel in 2005, which did not seem to placate the Palestinians as they continued their barrage of terrorist activities against Israel. Many people see this gesture as a proof that Palestinians do not want peace. But is that really true? Was Israeli withdrawal from Gaza a unilateral peace move and gesture of goodwill to the Palestinians? Was it a coordinated political decision made with the sole interest of Israel at heart? Well, let's find out. Recently, Colman Hughes, in a conversation with Glenn Lowry and John McWhorter, made that popular argument as regards the Gaza withdrawal. But what he ended up showing is how unsophisticated he is as a budding public intellectual who failed to do his proper homework on an issue before speaking on it.
I know enough Israelis to know what a kind of Israeli perspective on that question might sound like. And it might sound like something like this. Everything we have tried has led to more terror. When we have tried the forbearance, in other words, they unilaterally pulled out of Gaza, which was not, that was a kind of a left-wing decision in a sense. Like they didn't get anything for it. They did what the pro-peace crowd wanted and just pulled out of occupied territory. And they feel what they got in response was more terror.
This is a clear-cut indication that Colman Hughes doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Why did Israel pull out of Gaza in 2005? Was it a gesture of peace that the Palestinians rejected? Well, let's hear from the horse's mouth. In a November 2003 interview, Ehud Olmert, Sharon's deputy leader at the time, explained his developing policy as follows, quote, "There is no doubt in my mind that very soon the government of Israel is going to have to address the demographic issue with the utmost seriousness and resolve. This issue, above all others, will dictate the solution that we must adopt. In the absence of a negotiated agreement, we need to implement a unilateral alternative. More and more Palestinians are uninterested in a negotiated two-state solution because they want to change the essence of the conflict from an Algerian paradigm to a South African one, from a struggle against occupation in their parlance to a struggle for one man, one vote. That is, of course, a much cleaner struggle, a much more popular struggle, and ultimately a much more powerful one. For us, it would mean the end of the Jewish state. The parameters of a unilateral solution are to maximize the number of Jews and to minimize the number of Palestinians, not to withdraw to the 1967 border, and not to divide Jerusalem." It was further stated that the Gaza withdrawal was designed to obviate rather than facilitate peace negotiations. Sharon envisaged at that time annexing Jerusalem, the Jordan Valley, and other major settlements, and thereby isolate Palestinians on the West Bank in territory that constituted less than half of what existed beyond the Green Line. Fascinating stuff. For all those who didn't understand what I just read, the goal of withdrawing from Gaza was not a peace move. The word obviate, as used earlier, means to prevent, meaning the move was meant to prevent peace negotiations. But why won't Israel want a peace negotiation? They sensed that the Palestinians were open to a one-state solution, and that will mean granting millions of Palestinians voting rights, a move that would fundamentally change the demographics of the Jewish state. Israel wants a majority Jewish state. So much for the tolerance of Arabs. As we also saw earlier, as a follow-up to withdrawal, Israel was going to annex other Palestinian territory, such as the whole of Jerusalem, the Jordan Valley, and other settlements. Till today, Israel continues to expand Jewish settlements in the West Bank. With all these things Israel does, the popular narrative is still that Israel wants peace and the Palestinians are the only ones standing in the way of peace. Continued expansion of Jewish settlements is one of the biggest obstacles to peace. You don't want them to be a part of Israel, and you keep grabbing land that they can potentially create their own state on. Yet, they are the ones who don't want peace. The original partition plan was to give Jews 52% of the land and Arabs 46% of the land. Today, Israel contains 77% of the land and is still expanding. Israel says it wants peace, but its actions say otherwise. Actions speak louder than words. In October 2004, Prime Minister Ariel Sharon's senior advisor, Dov Weisglass, explained the meaning of Sharon's statement further. Quote, "The significance of the disengagement plan is the freezing of the peace process. And when you freeze that process, you prevent the establishment of a Palestinian state. And you prevent a discussion on the refugees, the borders, and Jerusalem. Effectively, this whole package, called the Palestinian state, with all that it entails, has been removed indefinitely from our agenda. Unquote. Israeli agenda for pulling out of Gaza couldn't have been more explicit, so miss me with that nonsense. Colman Hughes would have known all of this if he took time to do a little research, but he's too busy being an armchair intellectual trying to use common sense to analyze a complex issue. The withdrawal has very clearly achieved its goals of isolating the Palestinians in what is known as the world's largest open air prison. The Palestinians are not a part of the state of Israel, even though there were indications in 2005 that they were open to that. And finally, they still do not have a state of their own. Well played, Israel. Well played. If you're looking for something fun and exciting to read, check out my crime fiction novel, which features a debate on race and colonialism. Grab a copy and enjoy the read. The link is in the description of the video. So that's the video. If you like what we do on this channel, consider becoming a channel member or patron. However, your likes, shares, and views are just as valued.